As a part of India's ambitious space mission, ISRO's third lunar probe is aiming to land on the moon's southern pole. Apart from the endeavour to conduct a soft landing on the lunar surface, ISRO also aims to gather valuable scientific evidence for the presence of water molecules. Recent updates highlight that the still orbiting Chandrayaan 2 orbiter has successfully established a two-way communication with the Chandrayaan 3 lander module. Meanwhile, ISRO has released captivating images of the moon's far side, showing craters as well as a plain area on its surface. Even as the stakes are high, 1.4 billion Indians watch with bated breath as to whether India will make a mark in the space arena. Viewers, we've also opened out our call-in line so that you can tell us what you feel about Chandrayaan 3's imminent touchdown. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Chandrayaan 3's journey till now. Let's quickly go across and show you those details on the mission, and of course also how it has progressed from the liftoff up till this very stage. Okay, so this is the Chandrayaan 3 full mission that you can now see on your screens. This was the moment when Chandrayaan 3 took off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. These are those pictures that came in from day one. Then remember, the first orbit raising maneuver for Chandrayaan 3 was performed successfully. This is that moment when it took place. You can see over there that that was the first orbit raising maneuver. The second orbit raising maneuver then for Chandrayaan 3 was performed successfully on the 17th of July. You can see here that moment when it happened. The third orbit raising maneuver for Chandrayaan 3 was performed successfully on that very next day after 18th of July. These are the pictures from when that took place. On the 20th of July, Chandrayaan 3 completed its fourth orbit raising maneuver. This also happened very, very successfully. A fifth orbit raising maneuver was successfully completed on the 25th of July. And Chandrayaan 3 completed its orbit around Earth and headed towards the moon on the 1st of August. That's when the next transition took place. On the 4th of August, Chandrayaan 3 covered 2/3 of the distance to the moon. Well, Chandrayaan 3 entered the lunar orbit first time on the 5th of August. This is that moment when it first entered the moon's orbit. Chandrayaan 3 underwent planned orbit reduction maneuvers then. And Chandrayaan 3 sent the moon image a day after its lunar orbit insertion. This was the first image sent by Chandrayaan 3 to Team ISRO. From lunar-bound orbit maneuver successfully, the final, lunar orbit maneuver was conducted on the 16th of August, remember. This was the final one before the landing. The lander module successfully separates from the propulsion module after this. So that separation happened also very, very successfully. Those were pictures of that. Chandrayaan 3 then performed a braking maneuver to enter the lunar surface to come closer and closer to the moon. Chandrayaan 3 then sent more pictures of its proposed landing site, the south side of the moon, the far side of the moon. And Chandrayaan 3 established then contact, remember, also with Chandrayaan 2's orbiter as well. And that's of course the journey as it stands right now. And then of course, remember, we are hoping that the next picture, the next stage of this will be its successful soft landing. Joining us at this point is Group Captain V.N. Jha to discuss this story further, former Joint Director DRDO. We also have Suresh Naik, former ISRO scientist, joining us live. Let me begin with you first, Group Captain Jha, on the emphasis on the soft landing. Why is this so important, Group Captain Jha? Why is a soft landing being emphasized on so much? And then I'd also like you to just recap the journey, because you've also been part of our exhaustive coverage on it, as we've seen these pictures that I just showed to our viewers play out in real time.
Oh, there. Very good morning to you and to all your viewers. I was really touched by the way that the entire capsule of events taking place right from the day of launch till the place where we are given at your channel. I was really touched. Everything, every bit of details have been covered in short. So you have told the entire audience the entire thing that has happened in the Chandrayaan 3 movement. Look, the entire mission that ISRO has planned has been divided into 10 parts, depending on the work, the involvement, the effort that are required to be. Phase 1 was the liftoff from the Earth, and the phase 10 is the one when the landing happens and the experimentation starts there on the lunar surface, and the data communication link is established with the Earth station. So that is the phase 10. Right now we are at phase 7, that is the pre-landing phase. This pre-landing phase is based onto the entire gamut of events that will take place before actually landing happens. In this, what is happening is now ISRO knows the final orbit of the Chandrayaan 3, that is 25 kilometers of the perihelion and 134 kilometers of the apoleon that it has got. Now it has to work out the final trajectory from 25 kilometers and not intended earlier 30 kilometers. So that is one effort that it has to make. That entire trajectory slope will have to be worked out by ISRO. Second thing here is that every pass that Chandrayaan 3 is making from the close quarters, that is from the 25 kilometers altitude, every pass that it makes over the South Pole, it takes a snap, high resolution photograph pictures of that area. And designated area for landing is about 10 square kilometers. That is 4 kilometers length and 2.4 kilometers of the breadth that it has got. In that 10 square kilometer area, Chandrayaan, the entire base is just about 2 meters across, the length and the breadth. Only that much is needed. So now with every pass, with every high resolution photograph of that area being taken and sent to the ISRO, the team will decide of that 10 square kilometer, which exactly spot looks to be absolutely flat, without any elevation, without any border anywhere, without any crest, so that they can pick up that particular area and then plan that entire trajectory to land at that space. Even further redundancy and leverages are there in this present Chandrayaan 3, in the sense that it has got more fuel into it. After it comes down to around that area, it will have all those 4 motors to give it lift, thrust, to hover at around that space. There is no atmosphere, so it can't hover like a helicopter. Those boosters will give it that capability, and then it will finally decide which area is the one which is absolutely flat. There is a camera, a down-looking camera, which will tell it there. In addition to that, there are the radio altimeters. There are the many other sensors which will give you exact location and terrain underneath. And depending on that, it will make a gentle, soft landing at a velocity which will not exceed 2 meters of the vertical speed. That is absolutely important, because in case if it makes a hard landing, there is a tendency to topple it down. So that coming down in the last phase softly, gently at a velocity given there within the variables, that is absolutely important. And further, the legs have even got the dampeners. Should any recoil or anything happen, there are dampeners that will absorb that particular shock. So ISRO has done everything possible that they can think that there could be an exigency. They have taken care of it. Having done that, it is now 1.4 billion Indians and the entire world who will be giving their best wishes to ISRO that Chandrayaan makes a gentle landing there, and thereafter then the experimentation and other things will start.
Okay, well, we are now opening out our phone lines at this point. Our viewers can call in and have your say on this big story. You can share your thoughts, your opinions, your best wishes to ISRO. Also, you can ask any question you may have for our experts on the program. We have a viewer now joining us from Pune. Ramamurthy is calling in. Ramamurthy, please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to you. See, not alone we proud Indians, the whole world is awaiting for the historic day and the moment, actually, and which is going to be, which will be written in gold letters for the future generation to read. Okay, my family also joins me to wish all success the mission. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Ramamurthy, for joining us, sharing your thoughts this morning on NewsX. Let's go across now to Suresh Naik, who's also live with us. Suresh Naik, your thoughts on why a soft landing is being emphasized on, what will be the bonus that we will get through a successful soft landing of Chandrayaan 3 on the moon? And also, Suresh Naik, your thoughts on, the journey of ISRO that we just recapped for our viewers a short while back.
Soft landing is extremely important for us now in this mission. From the point of view of one thing is if this technology is mastered, then the further avenues for taking up more ambitious expeditions like landing of astronauts on the moon will be possible. Otherwise, we will not think of landing of an Indian astronaut on moon, because then there is a risk to the human beings. And that is why soft landing on the moon is extremely essential. And all the precautions have been taken for that purpose. And secondly, so far, the journey has been absolutely glitch-free. And ISRO's confidence is boosted up because of this fact. There is a tremendous enthusiasm in the mission control room of ISRO, and they are more confident now of achieving this feat. And now some new inputs which I wanted to give. One is, this actual landing on the moon surface is decided at 6 hours 6:04 p.m. Okay, 6 hours and 4 minutes p.m. on the moon tomorrow, 23rd August. But 2 hours before that time, ISRO is going to take a review whether still we go ahead with the landing or not, because the moon's conditions on the moon keep changing. There we have already decided the landing area, landing spots, it is fine. But supposing just at the time of landing, if there is a change, there is a potential obstacle is observed, then that is one factor. Second thing is the moon's temperature. There is always a variation in the moon's temperature because of the solar, and we have to make sure that the temperature is favorable for us. The third thing is always the moon is bombarded with micrometeorites. These micrometeorites, they come and hit moon surface with a high velocity, and these can be very hazardous for our Vikram lander. We have to take into account these things. We have some kind of capacity to predict these things, as well as last-minute verification of these factors is very essential. ISRO, as abundant precaution, has decided to take one more review just before 2 hours before the landing. And another thing is we have got some good news also. One good news is the propulsion module had a certain amount of fuel in it to carry out its functions, and there was a margin, cushion provided in this quantity to take care of mid-course corrections, etc., some unforeseen problems. But fortunately, and with the ISRO's efficient operations managers, we have been able to do it without needing this margin which is provided in the fuel quantity. So now we have got extra fuel on board the propulsion module, and it is something of the order of 100 kg.
Yes.
And, the life of the propulsion module was committed by ISRO as about 3 months.
Okay.
But now they go to some years.
Okay. Point taken, sir. I want to quickly now bring in some viewers as well. They are also calling in. Let me bring in Lakshmi Narayan, who is joining us from Bengaluru. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Please go ahead. What would you like to say?
Sir?
Lakshmi Narayan, what would you like to say? Please go ahead.
Sir, our best wishes, my best wishes to ISRO, Chandrayaan 3 and to your channel.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Lakshmi Narayan, for calling in there with your wishes. Sparmol joining us from Shillong. Sparmol, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. All the best. best wishes for our scientists, ISRO scientists, and also for the journey. We wish that it should be successful. And sir, one question is that all the photographs of the moon show that it is in its color is in ash color. And we have in our committee here in Khasi Hills in Meghalaya that maybe I can tell you next. But this is, sir, here we say that the color of the moon it is full of ashes. Is it true that when the Chandrayaan goes there, then when the vehicle is landing there, it will take also the photograph and it will bring only color of ash colors on the moon?
Okay, he wants to know about the color of the moon. Group Suresh Naik answering that. Suresh, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, it has been well identified long time back. The color of the moon is a grey color. Okay, and it looks like ash. Okay, and there is a lot of regolith, what we call on the surface of the moon, which consists of very fine dust, and that is being formed because of the bombardment of the micrometeorites, comets, etc. And they're breaking the rocks into pieces over the millions of years. And it is true that it looks like an ash color. And when we are going to take pictures after landing of the Vikram as well as rover, in the background we might see the same color. And I wanted to add
yes.
one more quick news is, you see, earlier ISRO had committed that the lander and rover, they will survive for only one lunar day, which is equivalent to 14 Earth days. But now what they are saying is that they may survive for another lunar day. That means after the first 14 days, there will be a night of 14 days, and again the day of the moon will start after that, and another 14 days, that is 14 plus 14, 28 days, with a sleeping time in between of 14 days. Our lander and rover will be able to work, might be able to work, and get some valuable extension period to send the data. And Vikram actually is now the communication system also I wanted to explain to the viewers. You see, the rover will collect the data. It will send the data to Vikram. Now Vikram will send the data directly to Bangalore. Okay, but there is an alternative path of communication is established between Vikram and orbiter, Chandrayaan 2 orbiter. And actually, interestingly, when this link was established yesterday, Chandrayaan 2 orbiter confirmed it by saying to Vikram that, "Hi buddy, you are welcome."
Yes. Okay, Akhil Das is also calling in now. Akhil, please go ahead. Where are you joining us from and what would you like to say? Okay, I think we've lost that connection there with Akhil Das. But our other viewers can continue to call in. Our numbers are flashing there on your screens. You can call us, share your opinions, your thoughts, and of course ask your questions as well for our experts. Group Captain Jha, would you like to add something on the color aspect of the moon? And also, Group Captain Jha, on what are the last minute sort of checks and procedural sort of recce that must be happening right now at the ISRO headquarters before the landing?
Well, the first question, the color of the moon.
Yes.
Look, moon is the only object, our moon is the only object in the entire universe till now that is known to the scientists that has got such a bright reflection of the sunlight. And that sunlight which is reflected to us is so soothing to us. Everyone wonders what makes it to reflect in such a way that we can see our shadow here of the earth in that moonlight as well. So just for that query, that how the moon appears, it may be looking grey there, but its constituency is about 20% silica, about 19% magnesium, about 10% iron, 3% calcium, about 0.5%, 0.4% calcium, and then there are the rare metals of chromium, titanium, manganese. All these are there. But one encouraging factor is there that there is almost nearly 43% oxygen. So that is one thing that I wanted the entire viewers to know, that whenever there is any impact of the extraterrestrial bodies, whether it is the comet or it is the meteorites taking a splash there, there is such an intense heat generated on the surface that actually burns, melts the entire thing. And what comes out is, with the silica, is something like glass-like character, which reflects the sunlight so much that we see the type of light that we have here on the earth coming from the moon. That is one aspect. And secondly, as you mentioned, the final phases of decision making. Right now, Chandrayaan 3, that lander, or you can call it Vikram 3, is making the pass of the moon into the orbit, which you mentioned is 25 kilometers of the perihelion, and the farthest point is about 134 kilometers. So while going around that, it makes that chakkar every almost nearly 98 to 100 minutes. And every 100 minutes that chakkar being made, whenever it passes through that South Pole region, that special occasion is the one when it takes a high resolution snap. It is taking the snap at other places also, but to ISRO, that snap taken at the South Pole in the landing area is very important, because in these days, in these last final hours, it makes that decision that where exactly to land, because subsequent decision whether to land at that place or not, whether to make any changes, last minute changes could be there. There are numerous systems and subsystems in the Vikram 3, lander 3, which is going for landing now. And any of those systems malfunctioning or any small glitch coming up there, the landing can be stopped at this phase, because once it goes into that automated slope of trajectory for landing, nothing can be done. It has to go for landing. Then you don't have any control. But before initiating that automated descent, you have control. Right now, Chandrayaan 3 is in the almost stable orbit of 25 into 134 kilometers, and it can continue for weeks and months there. There's no problem there. But that final decision will have to be taken by ISRO tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon sometime, as to when to initiate that final descent into the given trajectory that it will be freezing it for the automated landing to happen. And once it goes to the automated landing, it has to be decelerated. The velocity right now is about 6,000 kilometers per hour. That has to be reduced, that has to be decelerated. There is a hard phase of braking, there is a soft phase of braking, and then finally when it comes to the designated spot, out of that 10 square kilometer I mentioned to you earlier, that camera lens will be taking a photograph, giving to the computer itself. If it is looking absolutely flat, even the radio altimeter will be giving the input. If it is absolutely flat, then it will make a decision of hovering and then coming down gently at a designated vertical velocity, downward velocity of less than 2 meters. That is in the specified in the landing velocity, with a tilt given less than 12 degree of the lineage in any of the axes. So that is already done. It is already decided. Last moment decision will have to be taken by ISRO. Should any subsystems in Chandrayaan show some erratic behavior, that descent may be delayed. As Mr. Naik had mentioned, that should any meteorite bombardment of the surface in that area be seen or anticipated, it may be delayed. Or any unforeseen things happening into the last moment, which can jeopardize that controlled descent in the trajectory, it can be delayed. But as of now, there is no glitch at all. ISRO has done everything possible that can be done, that can be thought of. They are the main system, they are the redundant systems, and even beyond that, they are the ways that it has taken care of. So I don't foresee any problem coming up there.
Okay, so no problems being foreseen by you, but Suresh Naik, as you were telling us, the situation, of course, keeps changing, at the moon regarding, of course, the temperature and the conditions. So what all will be, happening at ISRO headquarters as we speak from this morning up till tomorrow evening?
Yeah, first thing is already all the systems and subsystems on Vikram have been thoroughly checked already. But today, completely will be utilized for double checking of again all the subsystems and parameters and things like that, whether the frequencies are correct, whether the temperature system is working properly, and all these, the thruster operation will be again checked. It will be recalibrated. The altimeter, velocity meter will be recalibrated. If there is a slightest inaccuracy in altimeter and velocity meter, supposing altimeter is showing is something like 20 kilometers, but actually it is something like 25 kilometers, then we are in trouble. Similarly, in velocity also, the calibration is very important at the last minute to make sure that what the reading is being seen is actually the fact on that. If velocity is something like 5,000 kilometers per hour, it should not be a plus minus again the 100 and 200 kilometers. So all these checks, rechecks, calibration, all these operations will be done throughout the day today and tomorrow. And as I said, again, tomorrow when we have got enough time, we will be monitoring the spots of landing. We want to make sure that there is no obstacle, and though we have taken all the care in our system to make sure that nothing will go wrong, the conditions on the moon, they are not in our hand and they may vary, and ISRO has already said that just 2 hours before they will make sure that the already landing period what has been decided is going to be held, and we will complete the landing by 6:04 tomorrow evening. However, ISRO has already said and announced that if we find 2 hours before, if there is any factor on the moon is unfavorable, then the next launching window will be on 27th. This also ISRO has already announced. So I think we have to hope that the moon also favors us for a smooth landing on 23rd August at 6 o'clock. And ISRO, of course, is very confident. Today they have expressed that they are very confident about the smooth landing. And what is important here, I want to make sure, is, as they say, jaan hai to jahan hai. What is important is to demonstrate and get confidence ourselves that we have landed our Vikram safely. That is the most important thing. And actually the launch period, the landing window and operational window of 14 days, that comes secondary. Primary thing is the safe landing. And if we have to sacrifice some of our operation time just because that some conditions are unfavorable, there is uncertainty, risk is there. You see, because if we know that last 2 hours that some changes have to be made in our algorithm, that will take time. Similarly, if we know that there are some other problems, then again the engineers and scientists will meet together, they will come ahead with the solutions, and it is going to take 6 days' time.
Yes.
So why? 27th is the alternate date.
Okay. My thanks to our guests for joining us with your views on this big story.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.